Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pickdawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Friday, November 21st, 2025. If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games I love the most, including my daily Bank Shot best bet in college hoops, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Friday in college basketball. First up, we've got Northwestern and Virginia. This one is a neutral site game in West Virginia, 5 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Now, both of these teams have played soft schedules. They're ranked 358th and 326th in strength of schedule. They're both 4-0 straight up as expected. But for me, I've been more impressed with Virginia. The fact that this is a team that basically had to replace everybody in the offseason, no returning minutes virtually for the Cavaliers. The fact that they're already so strong chemistry-wise offensively, putting up 104 points in their last game against a pretty decent Marshall program, I think Virginia could be a team to watch out for in the ACC. I think they're actually well equipped for a neutral site game against a solid program like Northwestern, a little bit more so than Northwestern would be equipped for this type of matchup. As Northwestern in that last game against DePaul on the road, the defense did struggle quite a bit. They've not been great in the defensive glass. They gave up a lot of easy looks to DePaul in that game. And while I do think DePaul is better than what we've seen in the last couple of years, it's still a DePaul team that's been consistently the weakest team in power basketball in the Big East over the last decade. So I wasn't really in love with that showing from Northwestern. I think Virginia is just, plainly put, the better team in this matchup. And because these two teams have, 4-0 records and they're similar in the KenPom ratings, we can get a decent price with Virginia in this matchup. I say watch out for the Cavaliers this season. I'm going to take Virginia in this one. Next up, we've got Georgia Southern and Florida State. This one is going to be 6 p.m. Eastern on ACC Extra. Now, I think this is a bit of a letdown spot for Georgia Southern, believe it or not. They lost a very close game to Georgia Tech, 68-66, in a game that Georgia Southern had every chance to win that game outright. They lose it in a close one. It's pretty much, kind of a heartbreaking loss for the Eagles. And now you go on the road again to play Florida State, a much tougher team, a fast team, and a team that, Georgia Southern usually has a solid advantage in the turnover battle, three-point shooting. Florida State does that a lot better overall this year. Florida State's a great three-point shooting team. They're top 20 in both offensive and defensive turnover percentage. So the advantages that Georgia Southern usually has over their opponents, not going to be found in a game like this on the road with only a couple days off in between that Georgia Tech loss by 2 and this one in Tallahassee. I think that Florida State, this has been a very impressive team to watch this season. Didn't get the cover for us in that last game against UT Martin, but UT Martin had a big day from 3, 41%, 11 triples, and still Florida State won that game by 14 points, scoring 87 in the end. I think Florida State scores in the mid-90s in this one, and I don't think Georgia Southern can keep up for 40 minutes. And I think that Florida State wins this game in blowout fashion. I'm going to lay the points with the Seminoles in Tallahassee in this one. Next up, we've got Detroit Mercy and Michigan State. This one is 6:30 Eastern on the Big Ten Network. Now, as far as covering the spread goes, which is the only thing we're concerned about on the Bank Shot Breakdown, I think it's a pretty brutal spot for Michigan State as a big-time favorite. Sometimes you'll see comments of, oh my gosh, you think Detroit Mercy is going to beat Michigan State? No, I never said that. I think that they will cover the number, though, as we're getting a boatload of points. And like I said, it's a bad spot for the Spartans. They're coming off a big-time win, a neutral site victory over Kentucky, blowout win in a big matchup between strong programs. And now you're playing Detroit Mercy as a big favorite at home. I mean, this is a clear letdown spot for the Spartans. On the other side, Detroit Mercy, while they're not a great team, they're still actually a team I don't mind getting a boatload of points. As they take care of the basketball. They're a decent rebounding team, not the best, but certainly not the worst, and that's important against a Michigan State team. It's one of the best rebounding teams in the country. Detroit Mercy is a good free throw shooting team, 74% as a team this season. They play with pace. Their defense is forcing some tough shots, and they've already played a pretty tough schedule. They played 3 true road games at UIC, Notre Dame, and Toledo. So they're battle-tested. They take care of the ball. They're an okay rebounding team, good free throw shooting team. And you got Michigan State coming off a big-time win. You got Detroit Mercy and East Carolina the next 2 games before you get ready for North Carolina, Iowa, and Duke. For me, it's just a bad spot against the spread-wise for Michigan State. I think the Spartans win this game comfortably, but don't cover the number. Give me the points here with Detroit Mercy. Next up, we've got Stephen F. Austin and Pepperdine. This one is 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. Now, I like Stephen F. Austin. I think we took them earlier in the season. A nice blowout win. They're 4-1 to start the season. They will be a dangerous team in the Southland, but this is a bad spot and a bad matchup, in my opinion. I think Pepperdine, really an underrated team right now. On both ends of the court, they're creating really good looks. They're forcing tough shots defensively, taking open looks and high percent shots offensively. Even when those shots aren't falling, ranked 318th right now in effective field goal percentage, Pepperdine is still getting really good looks. They're taking care of the basketball, good offensive rebounding team, and one of the big reasons why I think their field goal percentage will improve. Right now, they're 82% as a team from the charity stripe, 15th best in college basketball. So I look for those three-point numbers especially to improve as the season continues. And, SFA, it's their second straight true road game on the West Coast, coming off their first loss of the year. It was a close game at Fresno State. It's just a tough spot for them. I don't love the matchup for them at all. I think it's, we're going to back the SFA plenty of times this season. Not here. I got to go with Pepperdine in this one. Lay the points. Next up, we've got Seattle and Stanford. This one is 10 p.m. Eastern on ACC Extra. Two teams that have great records on paper. They've taken advantage of weak schedules overall. But for me, when I look at both of these teams, I think Stanford has a better chance at kind of, producing these types of numbers for a full season or in the long term than Seattle does. Seattle, they're right now 8th best in effective field goal percentage. They're a great 3-point shooting team and 2-point shooting team. But they are taking a lot of low percentage shots, a lot of contested threes, low percentage shots in general, and making them at a high percentage rate so far, which is great when you're doing it, but it's not sustainable, in my opinion, for a full season. We see them turning the ball over about 20% of their possessions. They're not a great rebounding team. They're also not a great free throw shooting team, believe it or not. 63%, ranked 331st so far. So that's why I do think that these field goal percentage numbers will decline as Seattle plays more games in general, plays some road games like we see in this one. Their first 4 games were all at home, and play some better defenses, which they get all of that in this game. Stanford's been strong defensively. They're forcing tough shots. They force a lot of turnovers. They're a good rebounding team on both ends, especially on the defensive end. And their offense can go toe-to-toe with Seattle for 40 minutes in this game for sure. I just think Seattle right now has been a little bit fortunate, and because of that, we're getting a really good price fading it in this game. Even though Stanford's 4-0, we can still get a reasonable price with Stanford in this matchup because of Seattle's hot start. So give me Stanford in this one. I'm going to lay the points. And that's it. Those are the games for Friday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at Pickdawgz.com, and there is a link in the description. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.